You are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, X. Welcome to another sneaker review for the Air Griffey Max 1. Now, y'all know before we even get into the box and its shoe itself, I like to talk about the shoes on the table because it's either a shoe I just recently reviewed or it has a correlation with the shoe I'm about to review. Now, first, on the right, we do have the Air Jordan 6 Reverse Infrared, which people are calling the Salesman. I just did a sneaker review on that. The link will be in the description. And to the left, you do see the Nike Air Diamond Turf 2, which I did also do a review on. The link will be in the description. In the front, you do see the Air Jordan 12 Flu Game, which I did do a review on, and I'll leave that in the description. The correlation with all these shoes is all these shoes represent the 90s, which I do feel is the greatest era ever when it comes to sneakers, but I'll get into that at the end of the video. Now, y'all, before we even get into the shoe, let's discuss the box. You will get the off red. To me, it's like a reddish orange Nike box, and as you see the white Nike with the swoosh, and the label says Air Griffey Max 1 black multicolor Freshwater. And when you open the box, you will have paper, but I took the paper out, and you will get a lot number in the top of the box in the left. And in the right corner, you won't get that red box, but you'll get some numbers, which I'm assuming is some type of code dealing with the shoe. With that said, let's discuss this beautiful shoe. And this shoe came out in '96. This is the first silhouette in the Air Griffey line. It was made by Tinker Hatfield, so he made Jordans, Air Maxes, like I said, the Nike CB94s. Tinker Hatfield pretty much made all the shoes. That's why I said in previous videos, that's why a lot of shoes resemble each other, is because he was literally making all the shoes. This shoe was built for baseball, as we all know, for Ken Griffey, and Ken Griffey gets swept under the rug underneath Jordan and Dion, but Ken Griffey is up there as being one of the top athletes in the 90s. For example, in the 96 season, his batting average was 303, 49 home runs, 140 RBIs, 165 hits, 125 runs scored. He was selected in the 96 MLB All-Star Game. He won the Silver Slugger Award and also won the Gold Glove Award. Whenever I see these Air Griffey Max 1s, that's what I think about. I think about in '96, and '96 was peak Seattle's Mariners era. You gotta think about it. You had Ken Griffey Jr., you had the young Alex Rodriguez, you had Edgar Martinez. These shoes not only are tied to Ken Griffey Jr.'s one of his best seasons, it's also tied to Seattle Mariners history. That was the best Seattle Mariners team of all time. And also with this shoe, how Griffey impacted baseball. Him wearing his hats backwards, being more relaxed and joking around, where everything was so buttoned up and so serious, to where the swagger, the calm, cool, collective attitude, and his smile really started to transcend baseball, where a lot of old heads, and let's be honest, a lot of traditional people in baseball, they didn't like it. Now let's start with the shoe. When you look at the middle of the shoe, one of the dopest parts of the shoe is the textile fabric, which is the teal part. A lot of people think it's leather, but it's a textile type of fabric. And at the bottom of the shoe, you do see the Nike swoosh in white, which is a tumbled leather. And when you turn around to the top, you do see on the strap where it says Nike, this is a synthetic nubuck, and it is a foam midsole, to where I don't know, but it feels like a polyurethane midsole. And on the side of the shoe, you do see how it does has the Air Max bubbles, which we all know Tinker Hatfield made the Air Max 1, so it makes sense. You do see a total of 7 Air Max bubbles all around the shoe, which makes sense. That's why this shoe is actually called the Air Griffey Max, because of Max technology. And something similar you do see in a lot of Tinker Hatfield shoes that he did design. The speed lace lock system, like I said, you see these in the Air Jordan 9s, the Nike Air Max 2 CB94s. And inside the speed lace lock system, you get white nylon laces, which I think it helps make the shoe pop. It actually helps bring out the white swoosh, which I do like. The tongue is all black, which is attached to the booty because this is a booty type shoe. As far as the tongue, I don't know if it's a neoprene tongue. It feels like it, but don't hold me to that, because neoprene and nylon, they feel exactly the same. And since we're towards the top of the shoe, y'all do know I'm a big fan of when they personalize shoes. On the strap, you do see the 24, which was Ken Griffey Jr. number. Y'all know all the shoes that have straps, I always have my shoe strapped, which I think think it's a better look, especially with these Griffeys anyway. And since we're at the top of the shoe, let's talk about the inner parts of the shoe, like the sock liner. I love it when they don't use anything other than white, because a white sock liner will get dirty. I don't care how many times you change your socks, it will get dirty after a while. And the production date was April 25, 25 to July 22nd, 25. And for sizing, y'all, I had to go up to an 11.5 because since I like to have these shoes strapped, a size 11, which I normally wear in all my shoes, it's way too tight and way too snug. So I had to go up half a size. I'm a wide footer, so for sizing, so the length of my foot is 10 inches and 5/8 in length, and in width it's 4 inches and 3/8 in width. And the reason I do that is because we hear a lot of sneaker YouTubers talk about sizing, but they never get specific. So if you measure your own foot and you're a wide footer like me, you should be able to tell what shoe you need. Now on the back of the shoe, you do see the swoosh going up, which I think is a dope touch, and how it's outlined in red. And one of the dopest parts of the shoe is the bottom of the shoe. When we get to the sole, you see at the very top, it has more of a riffled than waffled type pattern, which I think is dope, especially with this colorway. And you'll see the red swoosh in the middle, and then at the very bottom of the sole, right underneath the heel, you'll see a baseball that's infused with some type of flame. Overall, y'all, it's a good fitting shoe. And one thing I like to do on this channel is let's go back in time to where these shoes first came out and what was going on in pop culture, like movies and music. This shoe came out in '96, so we had movies like Jerry Maguire, Independence Day, Set It Off, Don't Be a Menace, Space Jam. In music, we had 112, Only You, Outkast Elevators, LL Cool J Loungin'. And I can literally remember, because y'all know I'm an old head, I can remember '96 like it was yesterday. I can remember when me and my brother went to the movies to go see Space Jam. We were in Fort Irving, California. Y'all see, I put the Air Jordan 12 flu game back up. And the reason why I put it back up is because we always have these arguments in the barbershop, at the gym, or when you're out eating with friends. Which era had what? Which era was the best? Especially when it comes to the 90s. A lot of people would say music, the 90s era was the best. Movies, 90s was the best. A lot of people do say 90s were the best in everything. The one thing I will give y'all credit for is sneakers. Sneakers from the 90s will never be considered out of style, and that's for a few reasons. Number one, the athletes. Like, I have Michael Jordan, Deion Sanders, Ken Griffey, the style, the history, the legacy of all these great athletes, the influence, but also the longevity to where it's going to get passed down to every generation. The 90s wasn't also the best era in sneakers. It was the best era in storytelling because there was no social media, so you didn't see all these celebrities and athletes every single day. They still had a mystique about them, and that says a lot about the greatness of these athletes because these shoes are still being worn still to this day by me and also my nephew. So when I'm holding these Griffeys in my hand and the video I'm gonna have playing and you see my nephew wearing the Air Jordan 12 flu game, that's 2 generations of still rocking sneakers from the 90s. That tells me something. The 90s wasn't just a trend, it was timeless. And Biggie, which is my nephew's nickname, he may never care about basketball the way that my brother and I do, but one thing he will know is sneakers from the 90s and about his Air Jordan 12 flu games. But y'all let me know what you think about these Griffeys, and do you think the 90s was the best era for shoes? Y'all know where I stand. The 90s, when it comes to sneakers, it will never be outdone, and these shoes will never go out of style. Let me know what you think about the video. Did you get the Griffeys? And if you don't think the 90s is the best era when it comes to sneakers, what era would you pick? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.